All right, if you're trying to ignore the result so you can watch it later yourself, then here it comes in 3, 2, 1. This is your spoiler alert. There we go. A win for England in Cardiff. I'm Tim, this is Egg Chasers. This is my immediate reaction following the final whistle. I don't know whether you can hear that. Underwhelmed, I think, is the emotion at the moment in the Principality Stadium. And yes, it's quiet. Much more quiet than it was before the game. And the stadium has emptied incredibly quickly. Do you know what? I have to be satisfied as an England fan with a win. Wasn't pretty, wasn't great to watch, but it's a win, and it's in Cardiff. And I was going to say another step forward. I don't know. Maybe we can get into that, but it is a win. And England were on a bit of a hiding to nothing coming into this one, because if they win, everyone says, well, Wales have had a tough week. It's of course you should win, and they're in a bad place. And then if they lose, it's how can you not beat Wales? They're useless. So they've had a tough week and they're not in a good place. So yeah, it's a win, and I'll take it. It wasn't great to watch, I will admit. I think the only people that will really be enjoying watching that will be Italy, who will console themselves with the defeat to Ireland by licking their lips at the prospect of Wales coming to Rome. And they will absolutely believe they can win that. Freddie Stewart's just getting his player of the match interview. He was good. That was one of the highlights as well. 80 seconds into the game, Freddie Stewart just bears his backside to the world. I loved it. Did you notice as he was still running, he was trying to pull up his shorts? Wonderful. This is generally, right, 80 minutes aside, this is turning out to be one of the best Six Nations ever. And this wasn't a great 80 minutes of it, but there was a lot of fight out there from both teams, and you can excuse some things not quite clicking, I think. So it was great being here. Let me talk about just this stadium. This stadium is just, this place, one of the greatest places to watch any sport anywhere, game rugby. And the atmosphere before was awesome. The Welsh Male Voice Choir, the Welsh regions have got no money. I know where that money's gone now. On the fuel to power the non-stop pyrotechnics before the game. Actually, I was glad to be here in the stadium because no doubt, this is my prediction, the BBC in their pre-game just went on and on and on about loads of negative rugby stuff, about financial woes and whatnot, which I understand is a backdrop to the story, but this is the biggest opportunity we've got to spread our love of the game to people watching at home. So I just don't think it's necessarily helpful to just keep going on about all the negative things. Like the last time I watched the BBC Six Nations game in week 1, they were just going on about the tackle height all the time. Let's just celebrate what we have had with some amazing rugby. That said, the 80 minutes here, as I've already mentioned, was not great. As for England, well, they won and they scored 3 tries, and you can see some of the shoots coming through that Steve Borthwick's laying in place. You could start to see a little bit of the attacking shape coming. It's just not very slick, and I think one of the things people are going to really complain about in the next few days, and fans online or maybe you as you're watching the game were complaining, just like with the game against Italy, the amount of kicking that England are doing. So I just got to say goodbye. Hamish, good to see you, man. Nice to see you. Sorry. The amount of kicking that goes on, and that's clearly by design. There were times when it was really frustrating. I'm just thinking it was in that second half when England got a turnover ball, the kind of turnover ball that Ireland got against Italy earlier, and ended up with Hugo Keenan scoring. Only we got the penalty from a turnover, and Jack Van Portfleet kicks the advantage away, and it ends up being a goal line dropout to Wales. And also when there was an overlap, and actually some really good attack had been done, Henry Slade found himself on the Welsh 22 with an overlap, and he tried to thread the ball through one of those little dinking kicks, which is clearly what they're being coached to do, because Owen Farrell did it loads last week. I found that a little bit frustrating to watch, because there were moments when you thought England could go for the jugular. But what you have to remember is at international level, the best teams do kick a lot. They do. And Steve Borthwick did this with Leicester Tigers. He got the line out sorted, he got the defence and the scrum sorted, he got the maul sorted, and they kicked and kicked and kicked and then kicked some more. And, you know, don't be fooled. Ireland kick really intelligently, France kick quite a bit and very intelligently, New Zealand kick a lot and intelligently, and the same for South Africa. That final word though, intelligently. I think England sometimes were kicking when it wasn't the right option, and sometimes it made me wonder if we shouldn't just have two flankers on the wings instead of wingers at times. That said, great to see Anthony Watson scoring that try, and a couple of lovely bits of footwork at times, and that was a really nice try. That was a really nice try, the one from Anthony Watson. And like I say, there are green shoots, and I am going to say as well, I said this last week and I'll say it again, I'm wrong about Ollie Lawrence being a makeshift 12. He can play 12, and maybe I've made too much of the whole 12-13 thing. Although that said, isn't it interesting? It seems easier to go from 13 to 12, like Ollie Lawrence. It seems more difficult to go from 12 to 13, like Bundy Aki earlier on. But Ollie Lawrence is the real deal, and I really like him. People are also going to be frustrated that you've got guys of the talent of Henry Arundel and Marcus Smith getting, well, not even 2 minutes, was it? I think they both touched the ball once. And yeah, that does seem strange, I will admit. But I'm going to be, and it's not just blind faith, I'm going to defend Owen Farrell again. I actually like him pulling the strings. And he was very much the main man today. And you can see the team are starting to give him lots of different options, and he's often picking the right one. It's just not slick yet. It's not slick. But it is coming. There were moments and there were glimpses at what they're trying to do and what they've been working on. So enough to keep me relatively confident that we are getting better. And we've beaten Wales in Cardiff, which is not to be sniffed at. Not to be sniffed at. As for Wales, well, there's a nice story that they can say, isn't it? All the stuff that's gone on this week, no one was expecting them to win, so it won't hurt too much. But they've got issues, haven't they? They've really got issues. In that first half, it was looking to me like, okay, Mason Grady looks like a good selection. I get that one. But it was also looking like leaving Jack Morgan and Tommy Raffel out of the side, both of them out of the side, was looking like a bad call. And at times I felt a bit sad watching Alan Wynne-Jones. I mean, the guy's a legend, one of the greatest rugby players of all time, no question. But he just looked a shadow of that man that he will be remembered as. He had his moments in the second half, and in fairness to Wales, some of their old heads, Justin Tipuric had a really important turnover in the second half, Alan Wynne-Jones likewise. But I kind of see where Warren Gatland was going with the blend of youth and experience. I think with Wales, all I will say is, and I mean this is a compliment, okay? It's not going to sound like it, but it's a compliment. They're not a very good team, but they have an ability to drag people down to their level because they fight, they scrap, and they're tough. And I think it says everything that they had to rely for their try on an intercept. That was one of those occasions when England's attack was just going through the motions and no one was quite in the right position. The back line was a bit flat and Max Malins went through the motions, and Lewis Rees-Zammit, fair play, spotted it and scored. But that was kind of it for Wales. They had one moment on England's 5 metre line and got turned over. I think Jack Willis, or might have been Alex Dombrant, or might have even been Ollie Lawrence actually with a turnover. There might have been a couple, but that was it. Wales didn't really throw a punch because I don't know that they have the personnel to do so. Gareth Ainscombe they need back. Wasn't convinced by Owen Williams, but then Dan Biggar didn't look that great when he came on either, did he? They don't have loads of options at centre. I thought Mason Grady and Joe Hawkins showed glimpses. But even Joe Hawkins kicked the ball away. You kind of want Wales to somehow play with a bit more confidence, but you're only going to get that confidence by putting in good performances, so it's a chicken and an egg situation. But you want these young guys to play with no fear. Positives. Let's talk positives. Lewis Ludlam, again. You know, when people talked before the Six Nations, myself included, about all the England back row options. The names that get mentioned all the time were Curry and Willis and Dombrandt. Lewis Ludlam, he's taking his chance, and he's making himself undroppable at the minute. Quietly excellent. So Alex Dombrandt was a bit better. Jack Willis is very good at rugby. We've already mentioned Ollie Lawrence. Right, here we go. I have been raving about Alex Mitchell, and I want him to start for England. Jack Portfleet wasn't bad, but those final few minutes... Oh, that's nice. That's nice. There's a couple of England players just down below me. I don't know if you can see this. Lewis Ludlam just walking down the touchline. Ollie Chesham down there with a little crowd of people watching him. Nice touch. I love Ludlam. He'll just come into your shot now there in the bottom. Alex Mitchell, yeah, that's what I was talking about. His Northampton teammate. When Alex Mitchell came on, did you notice how much the speed and the tempo came up? The ball was in and gone, and that is what led to that try. Which try was it? It was the Ollie Lawrence try, wasn't it? That's what led to it. It was just the speed of play from Alex Mitchell, just making the Welsh defence have holes. Before that, England were trying to go coast to coast and do lots of attacking things, and they were finding themselves up against a Welsh defence which always had numbers, and they never managed to, really find them outnumbered. Alex Mitchell made a difference, so he's one I'd like to start. Even more than Marcus Smith and Henry Arundel, Alex Mitchell, I think, is the one player who will make such a difference to this England team. So I really, really want to see him get some more game time. Maybe a start. Wales' attack. There was one moment, in fact 2 moments, one in the first half, one in the second. Thomas Williams tapped a penalty and took it quickly and ran. And then in the second half, it was Lee Halfpenny. He sort of made a break on his own, and both of these players found themselves completely isolated, and that says to me there is no attacking system, or at least it's not embedded enough that it's coming out there on the pitch. There are lots of players just doing their own thing, getting isolated. And I mean, is it right Warren Gatland was told Rob Howley can't come and join him, so Alex King is there as the attack coach? And also Warren Gatland without Sean Edwards makes a big difference, doesn't it? And you kind of only see it now. So there you go. That's my thoughts on the game. Not great, but I'll take it as England. There's lots of people packing up around me. I'm just checking I wasn't in anyone's way. Let's sit with that for a little bit. Tell me what you think, what your initial reactions are, and then we can sit with it a little bit, let it marinate and stew, and come back with maybe some punchier thoughts. But there we go. One more game to go in round 3. Hit subscribe and leave your comments. Thank you.